generally looking broadly, 2023, we can say was truly the beginning of the post-pandemic era. Until back in 2022, we still had some countries going through strict lockdowns because of the pandemic. Of course, from an India perspective, the pandemic was behind us already in 2022. Now, from a healthcare perspective in 23, globally a remarkable year in terms of growth and making healthcare more accessible and affordable. And then when we look at healthcare from India perspective, I would say it was also an excellent year. And if we look a bit deeper and see what is happening, I mean, I would say the broader picture is all the initiatives from the central government, also some state governments. The Indian governments finally, in the last couple of years, are paying more attention to healthcare, the welfare and the well-being of their citizens from a healthcare perspective. They are investing more into healthcare with a plan to get to about 2.5% of GDP by 2025. I mean, it still pales in comparison when you look at what the U.S. healthcare spend is. I mean, they're high, they're double-digit percent of GDP, similar in many of the countries in Europe. But what is important is how we are progressing. So compared to last couple of years, there is significantly more focus and there's significantly more spend on healthcare by the government, and especially how they're addressing the access to healthcare as well as affordability for the underprivileged. I mean, it is remarkable from a Ayushman Bharat perspective. Underprivileged are getting access to healthcare and they're able to afford it because of this scheme. And then looking beyond this access, they're also incentivizing global companies like ourselves under the Make in India banner. They've rolled out a specific scheme called Production Linked Incentive, PLI, under which they're incentivizing global companies to either set up manufacturing or expand their already existing manufacturing in India. And medtech companies like ourselves, along with our customers, we are driving innovation and digitalization. Pandemic accelerated a lot of this digitalization, but it's not going to stop. If anything, it will only grow. What it also means from an India ecosystem, we all know the software industry in India is very mature, thriving, and has gotten to a scale where no other country has. So using the software ecosystem we already have, we're building on digital ecosystem, additionally R&D, where more employment and employment in high-skilled jobs will be created out of India. So it's a bit of local to local, also local for global.
The healthcare industry in 2023 has been very growth oriented. We believe it is post-COVID and the healthcare industry has realigned. Particularly, we find that people have understood the importance of healthcare in the COVID time, and they are now giving attention to good health and early diagnosis and coming forward. And because of that, even the markets have recognized that healthcare industry is important, and there has been a significant growth in the healthcare related enterprises, and every one of the hospitals have grown significantly, including the private industry. As we know, nearly 77% of healthcare in India is provided by private industry, and we believe as also people move up the economic ladder, and by some estimates, the middle class are increasing rapidly and moving up the ladder. Everybody will be demanding high health care. And what has happened in India is that kind of demand, particularly in not only in the metropole, but tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. That is the attraction for future healthcare, that even in those cities, the healthcare is exploding in terms of new hospitals, new innovations in healthcare management and putting in a lot of technology. So we see a very bright future based on what we are gathering in 2023.
So again, to draw a larger picture, healthcare organizations also live in the same geopolitical and macroeconomic environment as any other industry. Already in 2022, due to the pandemic, we had experienced shortage of skilled workers, materials, and components across the board, which had put severe strain on the supply chain. And subsequently, in the spring of last year, we had a geopolitical situation which only exacerbated the supply chain issues we had. Of course, to start with, foremost, it was a human catastrophe, but subsequently it also added to already a constrained supply chain. And eventually all of this led to high inflation rates across the world. Most of US, Europe, pre-pandemic, they lived in a sub-zero inflation rate, pretty much no inflation. But after this, during 2022, many of them started reporting inflation rates of high single-digit percent, as well as some countries were also reporting double-digit percent. Now, this also put severe constraints on not just companies, organizations like ourselves, but also the complete ecosystem. So this was exactly the template when we started 2023. So we were facing supply chain issues. We were living in high inflation environment. And also to some extent, the growth in terms of GDP growth was slowing down across the globe. And the good news is the supply chain somewhat recovered in the first half of 2023. But the inflation continued to a large part until the end of Q3. And countries like US, UK, Germany started reporting that the inflation had slowed down, again, which is good news. But unfortunately, we were hit with another geopolitical environment very close to home in the Middle East, where it makes the road ahead tougher. Reading some of the analyst reports and the general information coming out, it will be a tough environment in terms of geopolitical situation as well as the macroeconomic conditions. Slightly improved on the macroeconomic, but I think it will continue to be challenging for the next couple of years. And then if I quickly switch to specific to healthcare in India, non-communicable diseases, NCDs, continue to rise, which is alarming, and access to care and affordability continues to be a challenge.
I think one of the major concerns is obviously, like I always say, what will be the government involvement? See, in a private enterprise, some people do believe healthcare is a right and there should be equal healthcare for all sections of the society, which is true. But unfortunately, in India, we don't have a universal healthcare. What that means is we don't have a payment system irrespective of the cost, the insurance to take care. While with good intention, government has rolled out all these schemes, and some states have really done remarkably well. Like I know state like Orissa have done remarkably well in the schemes. Even the reimbursement is good, but it is not uniform across the country. The scenario right now is we don't have uniformity in healthcare, uniformity in providing the service and outcome. And we also have to redefine what is the role of the government. So the organization concern for us in private enterprise is that we would like, things are going well. And I think at this point, while people bring about cost issues, we have to realize for the type of technology expertise provided, India is one of the best value-based provider in the world. What that means is outcome versus cost. We are the best, and it has been written up. Even our HCG has been written up by Harvard Business School. reverse innovation book, which have quoted HCG oncology, some other hospitals in cardiology, renal diseases. So we have mastered the technique of value-based medicine, high quality at a cost which is far less compared to world. But the reason people face financial issues is because we don't have that universal health care to meet that cost. So that is where the concern is for us in the year 2023. We are hoping the government will involve private enterprise in this. Unfortunately, so far the government has its own committees and all. They have, because private enterprise is providing 77% of health. They have to involve us in the committee's decision making, get our views, and reformulate how the universal healthcare will happen. So there is standard of care for all sections of the society will be provided, and insurance will be covered, and the system, the people will pay for it depending on their age and depending on their financial status and their job description. So you create a large endowment which will take care of payment to this. That is what we are hoping for.
So broadly, in short words, I would say, one, technology and the use of technology. Two is putting patients at the center of medicine. So let me start with the technology bit. MedTech players will innovate faster and leverage technology to improve accessibility and affordability. Use of artificial intelligence will only accelerate. There's already significant use of it. Go forward, it will only exponentially accelerate. So again, if I can bring in Siemens Healthineer's perspective here, 42% of our revenues are targeted for us based on innovations introduced in the last 3 years. So these are new products that have been launched in the last 3 years. And so within that, 80 of the products are AI supported product offerings. And then looking at a larger picture, we have about 24,000 intellectual property rights, within which we have about 15,000 granted patents, and 800 of these patent families relate to artificial intelligence. So technology will continue to play an important role in the healthcare roadmap go forward. Now, switching to the second bit, the patients, putting patients at the center of medicine. We are also patients sometimes. So we expect, when we have a situation, when we walk into a hospital, we expect that, we get diagnosed correctly, we get treated well, and very importantly, the whole experience of the cycle, we expect that we come out of it in a very positive mind frame. So the focus will continue to put patients in the center, which means preventative care, personalized treatment plan, and enhancing precision medicine as well as patient outcomes. So just to summarize this, technology on one hand and putting patients at the center on the other.
Significant happening in healthcare industry is we are looking at how we can really provide the global standards healthcare to our people in India. But India is multiple countries within India. You have 350 million population, which is large, as big as United States, which is in the middle class, upper class, demanding the highest healthcare possible. And we have a large population of 900 million or so, which are coming up the ladder, and which will someday demand that high-end care. So how to bridge the gap is the challenge. But what is happening is the technology and others are coming to bridge that gap to some extent. The government interventions in terms of digital health, what they have done, we also may bridge the gap. It is again, a jury is out for that. So in the year 2023, in my view, one of the most significant things is people are beginning to give importance to health. Like in the past, we gave importance to defense, we gave importance to farmers. and other industries. But now we are looking at why health and education are the most important thing. So people are the system, the even the government or all and people, most of the thing are paying attention to health. And with this, I hope the government will be spending more significant percentage of the GDP for healthcare. At present, they are not, but we hope, like in United States, it's 18-19% of the GDP. Here it is hardly over 2% or so, 1.5 to 2%. So we need to improve that. For example, per patient spending, per person spending in US is $10,000. And Europe is like 5 to 6,000 euros. And India, it is not even $100. It is like $80. So people are, in 2023, people have recognized it. And I think coming years, they will pay attention to it.
A new era of healthcare where technology will play an increasingly important role in improving patient outcomes. So what it means is, we see great potential in the development of technologies like artificial intelligence, like sensor technology, robotics, to improve medical care. And also in the last, 6 to 8 months, generative AI, the use of the large language models, will see a lot of adoption go forward. So simply to put it, we will continue to innovate and we will continue to innovate faster. So when I focus on the second bit of your question, how this is consumed, basically from a patient point of view. Interesting, if you go back to the pre-pandemic times, whether it was a simple flu situation or something more which required more intervention, we would always go to a clinical facility, be it at a doctor's office or a larger hospital. Pandemic changed the complete paradigm here. Telehealth, teleradiology, teleconsulting, all of these have come into play. And post-pandemic, it's not necessary people are going back to the hospitals. If they're able to get this care remotely, sitting at their homes, whether it's the diagnosis or the treatment, they're making use of it. So I believe as healthcare systems continue to innovate, patients will embrace it where they see benefit of these innovations for themselves.
Technology has been in the discussions for a while, but we didn't have the platform until the last few years. What that means is we didn't have the infrastructure, the type of hospitals, the type of technology within the hospitals. But today I can proudly say, in big cities, the infrastructure, the technology in terms of treatment, like you look at, for example, imaging technique, molecular imaging, diagnostics, genomics, and treatment facilities such as robotic treatment, linear accelerators, and high-end precision medicine treatments for neurosurgery, orthopedic, all of that are available in India, equal to global standards or more. And one of the greatest things is, we are bridging that through, information technology. Digital health has become very big. And for us to conduct tumor boards, discussion with major doctors, give that information to patients, and in terms of diagnosis, digital pathology, remote planning system have really come of age in this 2023, and going forward, this will only explode in 24. And I think with this, the beneficiary is really the patient. And the other important thing is, of course, the metaverse, using HoloLens. And a patient could be in a remote, smaller town, like, for example, you take Angol, or you take, for example, Ranchi, where major surgeries were never performed. But today I'm very happy we have technology where our surgeon in Bangalore or Mumbai his avatar can go there virtually, assist the doctor in performing this kind of surgery. So in 2024, more of that will happen. And we are in the middle of discussion with various technology companies to make it a reality, like day to day, even, EICU. So you can't get experts in all places. That was one of the major problems. Today, we don't need experts. We can have that expert counseling done from centralized system from Bangalore or Mumbai or Calcutta, or Ahmedabad. So what we are saying is technology is going to break these kind of barriers. I know it will be no longer the distance will become a factor. So major treatments, surgeries, and even counseling, advice, second opinions, all of that can be used in a matter of minutes. And this will be the future for healthcare to bridge the gap.